Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today is a super awesome day because it's not every day that I get a chance to look at one of these beasts of the Mesozoic Raptor figures, but today we are here to take a look at the Adasaurus from Creative Beast Studio for the Beasts of the Mesozoic line. I have to have it kind of at an angle here because the light glaring off of this plastic is just too much. It's too bright and I can't even see the figure at all, but at first glance, it looks amazing, as do all of the Raptor figures from the Beast of the Mesozoic line. You've got a really beautiful image over here on the corner, right there, of the Adasaurus itself. And then if we take a look here at the back, that's kind of like the little slip cover thing that comes onto the side of these. As far as the packaging goes, you've got a beautiful image again here of the Adasaurus, along with some information on the species right down here, and then an image here on the back of a ton of the other raptors that are available in the line. Really beautiful packaging. As always, it is just top of the line, extremely high quality, and really professionally done. When it comes to the Beast of the Mesozoic line, you can see, of course, that it is in 1/6 scale. It has 26 points of articulation, which is just an insane amount of articulation. And then it also includes a display base and stand. So this looks awesome straight away. But without further ado, let's go ahead and break this Adasaurus out and take a look at it. So here is the base for the Adasaurus. Here is our Adasaurus itself. And here is also the tail that goes on the Adasaurus. So of course we've got some assembly required, and they also include a different variation as far as the toes go for your Adasaurus, so you can replace those toes that are currently on the figure with these toes if you would prefer to. So that is extremely awesome on the part of the Creative Beast Studio and the Beast of the Mesozoic line to give you so many options for your figure. Now, of course, we do have the tail, like I said, and we have to connect it. It has a ball joint here, so we just have to slide the tail on, and there we go. It's on there nice and perfectly, and straight away, this figure looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice looking. I don't really ever see anything other than that every single time that I get a Beast of the Mesozoic figure, but man, it's really striking in person. I believe we've actually looked at two of these Raptor figures before on the channel, but this one is fantastic looking, really striking looking paintwork. Absolutely beautiful. I really love this kind of dark blue up here on the top of the head and on the shoulder area. It just plays off of the browns and stuff so well. Fantastic looking figure as far as the sculpt and paint goes. But then we've also got the base here that we need to pull out. And out comes some things that go with it. So of course this is your base, the display base, and to position your Raptor on there, you're going to have to put the little ball joint deal down here into the base. It snaps in pretty easily. And then you have your choice between exactly what style of connecting your dinosaur to the base you would choose to go with. I'll just go with this one. So then you're just going to slide that little ball joint into there, and there you go. And then you're going to take your Raptor, and then you're going to position this however you would like, and you're going to put the Raptor's belly right there. And although I don't have this perfectly in a great spot, it looks great here on the base straight away. That does help the figure to balance out perfectly, and it does wonders as far as display ability with your figure and the positions you can put it in. But let's go ahead and get a closer look at the actual Adasaurus right now. So starting up at the head sculpt, you can just see how incredible the overall skin texture is up here on the head, and just how nicely applied the paint application is. You can see so many different variations of color included on just the head sculpt alone, but look at the very nice, very smooth transition between like the darker colors here at the end of the snout and then into this lighter coloration, which has a really nice dry brushing done on it as well to bring out that detail really beautifully, and then back again to that black coloration that then again transitions to like this nice dark blue up here on the top of the head, which that dark blue gives it such an incredibly striking appearance for sure. Then we've of course got the articulated jaw, which opens really nicely. You can see the incredibly nicely painted mouth on the inside there. Really nice gloss coat on there as well, giving it an extremely realistic look. Wow, look at how beautiful that is. And there's a nice wash that's been given. It's like a pinkish coloration primarily there as far as like the gum line and the skin flap there on the side of the mouth. But then there's this really nice like dark red, almost like a blood red type of a wash that they've given over the inside of the mouth there, and it almost gives you the feeling of like veins and everything running throughout, and that really nicely sculpted out tongue in there looks great. Again, given a beautiful dark wash also. You can see the detailing on the top of the inside of the mouth is just as beautiful for sure. Really nicely painted and sculpted teeth. It just looks incredibly realistic everywhere that I look at the inside of the mouth of the figure. I really love the way they've applied just the gloss coat, but also that really nice wash, making it look extremely realistic, and the jaw works perfectly. You can pretty much open to whatever distance you would like. Really well done. You've also got a really nicely painted eye here with a black pupil, and it has kind of a mixture of like red and yellows throughout, giving it a really cool appearance as far as the eye goes. And they've dry brushed a little bit of that light coloration there above both eyebrows just to give it that little extra bit of flashiness, and I think that was a really cool choice as far as the coloration goes. You can see how nice the feather sculpts are as we lead back here to the top of the head, and you get kind of like a tuft of feathers here on the top, and then we go down into this brown, and you can see here in the brown there's like a dark brown, and then there's like this lighter brown that's kind of been dry brushed, but then it slowly disappears and transitions to strictly the dark brown for the most part, which again transitions to a different variation of brown as we run down the neck. So just right there alone, there's 3 different browns, so that really shows you just how much paint application goes into the figure. You can also see down here, there's like this nice black coloration that kind of turns into like a spotting here on the underbelly with this beautiful white. So such really wonderful coloration on the figure. And then as we get down here into the shoulder blades, it transitions back to that nice dark blue, which also includes a slight dry brushing of a lighter coloration to really bring out all that incredible feather detail, which you can now see wonderfully because of that light wash. And again, we run down the arm here. Look at how well that's been painted. Really nice sculpt work as far as the feathers, but I love that it's kind of littered with like a black throughout, and then the brown kind of shining through from the inside of the feathers. It looks really cool. And then we get out here to the arm, really nice dark coloration. Again, it's kind of that same similar black you saw up there that runs along the top of the arm here. And then the further down into the feathers we go, off into like the flight feathers, I guess you would call them, you can see that it starts to get kind of a striping of a lighter coloration throughout, and it does look really cool. Helps to give the arms a bit of a striking and flashy appearance, but very realistically, I will say that. And they've kind of dry brushed this black a little bit over the feathers as well here of the arm. On the inside of the arm, you can see the hands are really well done, really nicely sculpted. And you also have variation of color inside the arms with a nice striping of that black throughout with this lighter white coloration. But again, some of the brown is kind of creeping through there. As you run back here into the midsection of the dinosaur, you could just see so many different variations of browns as I'm turning it. Such incredibly nice paintwork for sure. Really beautiful as far as this dark coloration, this dark black that runs along the upper part of the animal. And we get down here into the hip area. You can see again that black runs down there, and you can sort of see the brown creeping out once again from the black. Looks extremely nice as far as the paint application, and similar to what we saw up here in the arms, you see that same situation here in the legs where this black coloration kind of runs along the front of the leg, along the thigh, and then down here into the lower part of the leg, but starts to taper off right here around the middle of like the shin area, and then you get back to this lighter brown. But you can also see a different variation, not quite as light of a brown up here. You can see how beautiful the feather detail is once again right there. And then once you get to this point, you get some more stripes that transition here down on top of a white. You continue to see those black stripes, which helps again to give it a really flashy appearance in my opinion. And then we get down into the legs, which are painted with like a goldish type of a color, like a goldish brown, and you can't see the toes articulate, which that one's in the wrong position. But the articulation of the feet, it's really awesome, even to the point of being able to articulate the actual sickle claw. But I really think that the coloration of the feet is an extremely realistic coloration, and you can see down here as well a really nice dark wash has been included to the feet to bring out the beautiful sculpt and detail of those feet. And you can see the nails are glistening and shining very realistically like real nails would. They've been given a really nice wash. Everything on the feet looks so bird-like so realistic. Even the beautiful dew claw back here, really wonderful looking sculpt, paint and detail all over the place. And then we run out the length of the tail, and it starts to transition from that dark kind of blackish color up here to primarily all browns. And then here at the end of the tail we get a nice striping of white, black, then brown, then white, black, then brown, and it continues that trend the entire length out the wonderful looking tail here with those beautiful tail feathers. Very striking, but extremely natural looking coloration there. And on the underside you have a nice striping with the black coloration, similar to what we see up here on the top, and it actually matches up pretty much perfectly to the black striping up there. But you can really see how great the detailing of the individual feathers is. It looks super awesome. The entire underside of the raptor actually looks great. And see how beautiful that is. We don't really need to look at the opposing side or anything as far as the sculpt and detail, because the raptor is in a very neutral pose, because of course it's up to you to determine how you want to display your raptor. But I think it all looks great from both sides. Really awesome looking Adasaurus from the Creative Beast Studio and the Beast of the Mesozoic figures, a species that I've never owned a figure of prior to this, so it's awesome to be able to add a new species to my collection, and I'm really happy that it's from Beast of the Mesozoic. We also have the really nice base that you can see here. It looks great. It's a very nice light brown, like earthy texture, and really nice earthy type colors to it, and you can see quite a few variations of lighter browns kind of given a wash throughout and painted on there really nicely. And then you've got this lighter brown that's kind of up here on the upper side, but nice variation of color throughout, giving it an extremely realistic look, along with some downed vegetation that you could see here and there, a few leaves and everything, along with some stones and rocks. And I love that even the rocks, like this rock here, is a different variation of color slightly than what you see on this rock. So it's super realistic as far as the paint work goes, but also as far as the sculpt work goes. There is absolutely no laziness whatsoever when it comes to these Beast of the Mesozoic figures. They really go all out and deliver the absolute best possible product. As far as the articulation of our figure, of course you saw we have the articulated jaw, but we've also got areas of the neck here with quite a bit of articulation, allowing really nice posability in the figure. So you've got right here, here, and here at like the base of the shoulder. As far as articulation goes, it allows for some really cool posability with the figure, really nice articulation and movability with the neck. You also have articulation here in the shoulder right there, along with the elbow, which, if I get that part of the arm to stay still there we go, the elbow. And then you've got articulation here in the hand, so if you want these kind of flight feathers tucked in a little bit, you can do that. And then if you want them out, you can do that as well. Really cool. Also, you've got articulation here in the midsection, along with the hip right there. The knee joint, which is a little stiff because I haven't really moved it at all. So you've got the knee joint. You've also got right here, and then you've also got down here in the toes, and the sickle claw, which can articulate separately. And then of course, you've got the tail right here at the base where the tail connects, and then again right here with a ball joint in the tail to allow even more posability. But if that's not enough for you, you also have a bendable tail, so you can actually articulate the tail into whatever position you would like as well. Even more articulation on an already incredibly articulated to the max figure. So again, absolutely awesome. Really go the extra mile as far as everything that you could possibly want in this figure. It's pretty much the ultimate when it comes to an Adasaurus. Not that we've ever had any to really compare it to, but if anybody ever does make any, I will really have a hard time finding one that'll be better than this. As far as a size goes, from the head there, the tip of the snout I guess, to the tail, you can see it's actually quite large. You're looking at just over a foot long, so around 12¼ inches, almost 12½, or about 31½, almost 32 centimeters for a length. The height is kind of hit or miss because it's really up to you how you want the raptor displayed as far as a height, but I think this is a fairly natural look for it. So you're closing in on about 5 inches or about 12½ centimeters, somewhere in that range for the head, and then for the tail, about 5 inches or about just under 13 centimeters, so really close as far as the positioning that I have the figure in right now. Again, the height and everything is really up to you and exactly how you want to display your raptor, because there's so many variations as far as posability for it. It could go higher, it could go lower, it's just really your call. As far as the size comparison goes, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Colovosaurus, the Attack Pack version from Mattel, along with Robert Muldoon right there, to hopefully give you an idea of the size of the figure. If you couldn't tell from the measurements, it's definitely a really nicely sized figure. It has quite a bit of size to it, so you do get quite a bit of bang for your buck. Really nicely sized figure. At 1/6 scale, you would expect it to definitely be a little bit larger than most figures, and you can really see that here with this size comparison. So if you have been considering picking up one of these incredible Beasts of the Mesozoic figures for some time, or even if you are newly introduced to them and you are considering buying one, I can tell you with 100% certainty not to think any longer and just order it, because trust me, there is no chance that you would be let down by this in any way, shape, or form. Everything about this figure is just awesome. Really beautifully sculpted for sure. Every little ounce of detail shines through the sculpt of this in brilliant fashion. You will never find any type of laziness in a David Silva sculpt, that is without question, and each and every one of these raptors will prove that to you when you order one. I have now a few different versions of their raptors, and every single one has just impressed me to the moon for sure, because they are continuously so beautiful. Such creative paint schemes taken from real life animals as far as the inspiration that they get them from. So you know you're going to get a very natural looking paint scheme on each one of your figures, but also really highly detailed and very scientifically accurate sculpts, which is always an incredible plus when you're shopping around for a dinosaur figure. As far as articulation goes, you're probably not going to find better from anybody, because there's just a ton of articulation, and due to all that articulation, you have so much posability and display options for your figure that it honestly creates a world of diorama potential for your figure, and just how many incredibly awesome different ways you can position it could make one of the coolest dioramas in history if you happen to purchase all of the raptors together, which is something that I think I could only dream about, because there are so many different variations, so many different raptors that were released with the Beast of the Mesozoic line, that you have choices galore when it comes to deciding which species you would like to buy. But not just choices, you could go the route of picking them all up, and then you would have one heck of a huge army of raptors in your life. So if you do want to pick up this incredibly beautiful Adasaurus from the Creative Beast Studio and the Beast of the Mesozoic line, I will include a link in the description for you to head over right now to the Beast of the Mesozoic website and order this for yourself. Trust me, like I said, you would never in a million years regret it. These figures, every single one that I have seen, are all absolutely beautiful. Pure works of art. So again, check out the description, head on over there and pick up this beautiful Adasaurus for yourself, or any of the other raptors you might be interested in. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.